Let's create a budget. Let's get out of debt. Let's build wealth. Guys, welcome back to the channel. So in the last video, we went kind of an introduction on the debt, a thought process on how to pay off debt. So in this video, I want to specifically look at paying off a mortgage. So remember that this is really simple. It doesn't have to be real complicated. There's three little boxes here. You enter your checking account amount, you transfer to your line of credit, and you have your emergency fund as backup. So guys, this is kind of a modified version of the very simple sheet. I built this to help illustrate some points and to show how to get out of debt. This is a simulation. It has actual mortgages, credit cards, different types of loans. It has actual simulations of amortized and simple interest schedules, and it'll help demonstrate how to pay off a mortgage. So I just threw in some random bills. From the bills we created a budget, and then you have your everyday expenses here. 401k. Okay, 401k, we'll get into that, but let's just zero that out for now. Okay, so we have, and this is kind of a older Excel, so I'm just gonna straight use this one to illustrate. So let's say we have an income of 4,300, expenses is 2,805, cash flow is 1,494. We have a mortgage, a balance of 275,000 with a value of the mortgage is 300,000. Payments 1312. So for this illustration, I'm not going to include escrow and PMI because there's no, it's too hard to calculate unless I have actual numbers. So we're going to assume that this is the actual part of the interest and principal only for this mortgage. So if I click up here on mortgage, this is a simulation of a mortgage. This is the schedule, a mortgage schedule payment. 275,000 we owe, 30 years, 360 months, 4% interest rate. So if we look at this and we go all the way down to year 30, we'll end up with a zero balance. So if someone made this payment of $1312.89 for 30 years, they'll end up paying their house off, and they would have paid $197,641 in interest. Okay, guys, and this says personal line of credit, but it works the same as a HELOC. So this is going to be a simulation of a HELOC. Now, obviously, with this, just like with every single step in all of this, everybody's at different points in their life. So this is assuming, that we're going to have a HELOC of $25,000. Now, if you haven't watched other videos, if you already have a mortgage and, you can't get a HELOC yet, watch the other videos and look back on ways to acquire this, because the whole point in all of this, if you don't have a house yet, follow those steps step by step. So when you get to this point, as soon as you buy your house, you're going to be able to put that 20% down or whatever you need to acquire a HELOC. So this is a point, assuming that we already have the HELOC. Again, if you're not at this point, if you guys want to see it ran without a HELOC, with a personal line of credit, or even with credit cards, just put comments below. If I get enough comments, I'll run those, because this is a little bit time consuming. So, okay, so we're going to assume that we have a $25,000 line of credit. Let's use 20,000 of that. So again, this is the mortgage, 360 months or 30 years. We have a zero balance. So we're going to take from our line of credit, and we're going to use 20,000, and we're going to make an extra payment. We're going to transfer that to the principal. So we'll still make our monthly payment. We're going to transfer $20,000 to the principal. So if we look, and just a second here, if we, okay, so right here, over here on the side, what this is basically showing the interest, right? So if we scroll back down, made a link so this will be easier. We're paying a total of $197,641, right? $197,641. That's how much you're paying in interest. So by acquiring the home equity line of credit, and we're gonna chunk $20,000 that first month. You know, obviously we're starting in the first month from a $275,000. We're gonna save $41,000 in interest. So, you know, acquiring a HELOC will require a, you know, for them to do, slipped my mind for a second there, but an appraisal, you know, which it may cost money, you know, I mean, it may cost you $600, $1,000, I don't know, you know, and obtaining the home equity line of credit isn't easy at first, unless if you follow all the steps and you've been preparing for this, you've been talking to them. Let's just assuming that you're at this point, and most of the time you have to be 80%. You know, I know this isn't 80% of the 300,000, but we're just using this as an example so you can see the power of it. So, you know, if it costs you $600 to $1,000 just to do the appraisal, go ahead and do it. You're saving $41,000. Now, you're saving exactly $41,000? No, because you will be paying a little bit of interest in the home equity line of credit, but more than likely you're saving at least $35,000 here minimum. But this is the actual what you would be saving on a lifetime on that first month. So if we go to the line of credit, we did 20,000. So this simulation, you know, you're paying $493 in interest. So if you look at this first month, you're paying $153 in interest. But what you're going to do here, your payment is going to be your whole income. It's going to go into this, and what that does is it lowers it daily, and you end up with 121. So you save about 30 or 40 bucks there, and of course you save more and more as it goes down. So how can we put the whole income into this line of credit, right? You got your bills coming out, your expenses, $2,805 will come out. $2,805 comes out at the end of the month. Now, yes, will your bills be coming out randomly throughout the month as they're due? It comes out, but remember, we have our checking account at that required amount, so we can literally park this in here the whole month, take out the $2,500 to bring our checking account back to the required amount. So if you remember from the previous videos, it's going to have you keep your checking account at the required amount. These are why you're doing these steps from all the way back from the creating a budget stage to getting out of debt. You maintain this so in the future you can see how this is going to help you. Okay, so if we put our income in at the beginning of the month and we take out expenses, so this is exactly how it works. When you put your income in, it's going to instantly drop that $20,000 to $15,704, and then as the little bit of interest accrues, you get the $15,008, and then once you take back out, you get that $1,826. So what's happening is you basically, right, you owe this much. This would be a zero balance, and what's happening is when you put that income in, you're dropping that line of credit. It's going to come back up a little when you take out your expenses, and then it's going to drop again when you put your income in. It's going to come back up a little bit, it's going to drop again. You know, this is the 40, you know, this is the high, the 20,000. I can't really type with this, but that's the 20K, right? And then when your expenses your income gets put in there, the 4,300, it drops it a little, right? And then you take out the 2805 for your expenses, it comes back up. So it drops way low, comes up. This little part is your cash flow that's staying in. So, you know, expenses come out and out and out, and eventually you'll get back to zero, and then we're gonna chunk again. Okay, so I went through, you know, I'm not, to save some time, basically your income comes in, expenses out, income in, expenses out. And when you get to month 12, your balance is $42.80. So if we make a payment of $42.80, right, and then your expenses are going to come out, and you're going to be left with a balance of $2806.06. So January 1st, you're going to owe $2806.06. So we'll go month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then January 1st, we have our line of credit paid off. We're going to repeat this. So 20,000 more will come out. 20,000 more comes out. So now we're only paying 125,000. And when we make this extra payment, now that we know January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. Okay, so if we scroll down, right, if we take this one out just to show you 121, remember that? When we made that first $20,000 payment, it shaved. Now the last payment, so it shaved hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 40 months. It shaved 40 months off. So when we make that next chunk a year later, right, drops. Now let's look, and I'm not going to recount it, but you're now paying this off how many years faster? How many months? Look at how many months it shaved off just from getting a line of credit. Now, literally, it's a matter of getting up, going and doing the work. That's all it is, right? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, November, December, January. Right, you're chunking. Now, understand, if something arises here, right? Let's say something happens. What do? You take a loan from your bank, and then you just continue on with this flow. It doesn't stop the flow. February, March, April, May, January. So let me just go through this. I'm going to change these dates to months so we can see it better. Okay, so I changed the actual dates to months. We go down. We'll see month 360. So I'm going to fill this out. Okay, so chucking the 20,000 every year, it'll bring us to year or month 110. We have 1606 that will pay it off, and so 110 months. So that's a total of 9 years. So a 30-year mortgage paid off in 9 years. Now, could this, guys, understand this is just straight using the HELOC. This is not encountering any income increases in your job, any bonuses, any tax returns, anything. So really this can easily be shaved off, you know, down to 5 or 6 years. I mean, you could easily get this to 5 or 6 years. It shouldn't be a problem at all. So a $275,000 mortgage paid off in 9 years without any increase in income, without leveraging any other leverage, zero balance transfer offers, your bank, 401k. There's many different ways, but I just kind of wanted to show y'all the difference. I mean, this isn't even close to how powerful this can become, but this is just straight. If you did nothing else and just went and got a HELOC, then you can see the difference. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this. You know, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I would appreciate it. And you know, again, this isn't even close to how much more we could have shaved off of this if we would have incorporated other things, and assuming you never got a raise in 9 years, which, you know, is not impossible. And then, you know, if you had you could get a second job, and there's just a lot of other different variables that could have went into this. But basically, this is it straight up with just a HELOC. So again, guys, thank you. If you found value in this, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.